Hey everyone, Jason here from pdxrides, and I'm very happy to welcome you to my new channel, PDX Walks. While I love recording my long cycling rides and capturing scenic places by bike, I've also started walking a lot to keep active on the days I don't ride, and I've also started building up a collection of videos taken while I've been on trips. So I thought it would be fun to share these experiences on a new channel dedicated to walking. After all, there's a lot of interesting places that are just not practical or sometimes even allowed to take your bike. I'll try to bring the same production quality and visuals I do for the biking videos here as well. To kick things off, I did this quick first video wandering through Portland's famous Rose Test Garden this summer. But I'll also be posting walks in New York City, on Seattle's new waterfront, in Ireland, both in Dublin and Northern Ireland, on a photogenic beach in Scotland, and later this year around California. So I hope you'll join me in sharing the adventures. Thanks for watching, and for now, let's go smell the roses, or at least enjoy the scenery. Located just above downtown Portland, in Washington Park, the International Rose Test Garden site was chosen in 1917 by Jesse A. Curry, a former Portland Rose Society president. He convinced city leaders to inaugurate a rose test garden with the American Rose Society's support. At that time, Portland had over 200 miles of streets planted with roses for the 1905 Lewis and Clark Centennial celebration, already earning it the moniker, the City of Roses. The garden serves as a testing ground for new rose varieties. During World War I, hybridists sent roses from around the world to Portland's garden for testing. Over 10,000 rose bushes bloom in the garden from late May through October, representing over 610 different species. This kiosk lists all the cultivated varieties and their locations within the garden. Here, we're walking north through Section A. There are 7 sections total, labeled A through G. Some of the sections have their own names as well, such as the Gold Medal Garden or the Shakespeare Garden. There is signage throughout letting you know where you are. If you continue straight ahead, you'll leave the gardens onto Rose Garden Way. There's a small amphitheater here, used for summer evening concerts and events. I think at one time in the 1920s and 30s, it was referred to as the Rose Bowl Theater, but that was discontinued for the obvious reasons of avoiding confusion with the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. We are now on the North Perimeter path. We'll walk the perimeter around to the south side, and then cut over into the center of the garden. It looks like this gentleman is stopping to, well, literally smell the roses. He may be disappointed though. Most of the varieties in the garden are bred for color and appearance, not for fragrance. You can find a few nice smelling varieties though, here and there. This path to the left connects to Sherwood Boulevard, one of the roads through Washington Park. There's also paths to where you will soon be able to walk around the newly restored and landscaped historic city reservoirs just below us by the fall of 2025. And coming up ahead is the Queen's Walk Garden. The local Royal Rosarian Society started their annual Portland Rose Festival in 1906, and the marker plaques in the garden walkway commemorate each year's selected Queen of Rosaria for the event, which started in 1908 with Carrie Lee Chamberlain, the daughter of the then sitting governor of Oregon, George Chamberlain. We'll take a closer look at one at random. It looks like this is the plaque for Queen Jean Wallace from 1952. They are placed in rows sequentially year by year. Each year's Rose, Queen, and Court is chosen from the graduating senior classes from among the city's high schools. In the central ceremonial position ahead is the plaque for the current reigning queen from 2025, which I looked up, and it's Ava Raffi from Lincoln High School. This lookout probably used to have city views, before the trees grew too tall, I'm guessing. To the left you can see blank spaces for future plaques. Looks like they have enough space for a couple decades at least, before needing to figure something else out. I believe the right side row is counting up to last year as the final one in the row, before they'll need to come back down the left side. Yep, and then there's a space to move Ava's once a new queen is crowned next year. We'll take a look back along the walk. This is the Shakespeare Garden. The roses planted here all mentioned in William Shakespeare's plays. There used to also be additional non-rose varieties of trees, flowers, and botanicals, also referred to by Shakespeare, planted here, especially from A Midsummer Night's Dream. But it looks like there aren't as many anymore. I'm not familiar with the play, but this quote comes from The Two Noble Gentlemen, apparently. We'll take a look out this way, and we'll return down the steps ahead in a little bit. But first, we'll head out the Shakespeare Garden this other way. This is the South Perimeter Path. It connects to the MAC, or MAC, trail. It's an easy, short trail, good for kids, and it connects to the Washington Park Playground and the Elephant House Picnic Shelter. This is now the Gold Medal Garden. I believe one new variety of rose cultivar is chosen each year by the Portland Rose Society for the award, and this garden is for all the current and past winners. If you've seen my most recent cycling video, you'll know that I love fountains. We'll wander towards Section E now. The different areas of the garden have signage letting you know the names of that section. This was the one for the Gold Medal Rose Garden from this side. And it looks like the garden dates from 1919, so only a couple of years after the Rose Garden as a whole was founded, apparently.
Look, this looks nice. Take a picture right there.
We'll stop at one of the beds just for a moment. Each cultivar has a small little sign indicating its bed number, its name, and what type of rose it is, along with another little sign if it's won any awards. Back to the side of the Shakespeare garden we peeked out of a minute ago. And then we'll pick another random one to take a look at. Wow, such a nice color. And apparently, this is called ketchup and mustard. Up past these steps are the Section B test beds. And here are some of the currently testing cultivars. I guess they must test them for things like hardiness, resistance to disease and pests, and probably the quality of the blooms, and maybe fragrance for the scented varieties. Hey, that's Coldplay the busker is playing. I guarantee there will be no kiss cam though. I think you could tell for yourself, but for the roses, they weren't all yellow. Here's the informational kiosk we passed when we first came in. And passing back through Section A again. This is the Frank Beach Memorial Fountain. He was an early 20th century Portland businessman and Rose Festival backer. The fountain and seating benches were commissioned in 1975 by his family. Made entirely of stainless steel, it must be high grade, as it looks pretty much identical to how I remember it even back in the 1990s. The structure's hollow though, so you can kinda play it like a steel drum-like percussive instrument. And you could, and maybe I have, tap, pound, or drum on it much louder, but I'm more appreciative of the quiet nowadays.
You glad we stayed?
Yeah, like a lot of toxins in the soil and in the environment, and they were surviving, but
This is the Royal Rosarian garden. Varieties here honor past heads, or prime ministers as they refer to them, of the organization. And here's an embossed stone bench memorializing Rose Garden and Rosarian founder Jesse Curry. The Rosarians are kind of like Portland Goodwill ambassadors and appear at civic functions throughout the year, especially at events related to the Portland Rose Festival.
She's like me.
This little dude is making a new friend. It's hard to tell from a bronze statue, but they're known for their distinctive white wool suits, white gloves, and white straw hats. Here's the other side of the Rosarian garden. And there's a friendly looking little squirrel. I wonder if we'll see more of him. We'll climb this other set of stairs back up to the parking area. Wow, with a $500 fine, those would be expensive roses to pick. Although, I suppose people would try to steal whole plants. On this level are a food cart for snacks and drinks, a patio for picnicking, restrooms, and the Rose Garden store, open on weekends and holidays. There's also an information kiosk here with brochures you can take and a map of Washington Park. We're there by the upper right. Looks like the options are hot dog, chips, frozen treats, cold snacks, and hot and cold drinks. There's another squirrel there. Wonder if that's the one we saw below. Or maybe it's this one. Wow, he's very calm. Portland squirrels are very approachable, or well-fed, apparently. I believe this is a spotted ground squirrel, somewhat rare to see in Oregon. Okay, we'll leave the poor thing be. You might just catch the sound of tennis balls being hit to the left across this parking area, where there are tennis courts and also some additional test rose beds around them. Parking is somewhat limited, but you can also take transit or a free park shuttle here as well. Here are the same steps we took at the very beginning of the video.
Why would I know?
And as I mentioned at the start of the video, the kiosk displays information about the rose garden
This is what I made my our top corsage and out of this one.
and has a map showing the different varieties on display. I believe these are all miniature roses in the raised beds. And another map. This one looks like it has a topographical relief. It took me a minute to identify She's Always a Woman by Billy Joel. Shazam couldn't identify it either, so hopefully I'm okay from a copyright strike. Are cover versions safe? Well, that'll about do it for our main tour of the garden. We'll just let this song play out and then take a closer look at some of the roses. The roses peak in June, but are doing pretty good here in July, if aging a bit. There are still a few new buds though. That is a very red rose. Anyone know this song? There's a few ragged blooms here and there, though. These yellow ones have a shimmering look on video. Not sure if that's my camera or how they actually looked in real life. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment and didn't realize the camera was pointed at the ground. Here's the pool at the base of the fountain, along with a little bridge you can cross. There might even be some photogenic floating petals in the water. Naturally occurring, of course. And now to wrap up, how about we sit for just a minute as a summer breeze blows the rose stems gently and there's a soft sound of falling water from the fountain. Okay, if anyone likes fountains more than me, it's gotta be kids. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing for more walking videos like this, and I hope you'll join me soon, as next time we'll be taking a walk on New York City's renowned High Line Linear Park. But this is farewell for now. I'll see you in the next one.